Hello and welcome to your Comp Sci Tutor. For this first video, we're going to look at how to revise for computer science. In particular, we're going to look at the GCSE, but this would also work for A-level as well. So this revision tool is the Retrospective Revision Timetable. So this is used to kind of track what revision you have been doing rather than kind of planning your revision in advance and then trying to stick to that kind of time frame. So it's a little bit different to a normal revision timetable, but it helps you kind of keep on top of everything and plan what's coming next. So I've got an example on screen here. This is for the GCSE in computer science. This is AQA's GCSE because that's the one that I use normally. Now, we've got the whole specification mapped out in this Google Sheet here, which is both papers. So it's paper 1 and paper 2. And all I've done is I've gone through the specification and I have just taken every sort of chunk of each topic and put it into its own row in this table. So it's going to be something that you can revise separate to everything else. So you don't want to revise an entire topic in one go. This is it kind of chunked up. So that's all the way down the left-hand side. And then along the top we have this sort of time frame here. So you would put start here, and then you could add in different weeks as you go along the top here, leading up to the exam, and I've got the exam dates on there as well. Okay, so the first thing that you would do with this is you would essentially color code each of these cells based on how confident you are with them. Okay, so you might go green for very confident, yellow for less confident, and red for things that you are really not as confident with, or if you know it's a weaker area, then you can do that. So you do that all the way down, okay, so for everything in the specification, so that you've got a good idea of where your kind of weaker areas are. So your stronger areas will be green, your weaker areas will be red. Okay, and you do that before you've done any sort of extra revision. And this gives you a good starting point, so you know this is where I am at the moment. And then after that, you can start to revise. So what I would do is I would put different weeks along here. So I've got week beginning. So if I put next week, for example, that would begin, I don't even know what date it is, some point in February, then the week after that, etc., leading up to the exams. And then what you would do is you would start by targeting your red ones. So for example, here I've got things like abstraction, decomposition, pseudocode, flowcharts, and trace tables. I've said I'm very confident with that, but I'm less confident with the searching algorithms in particular, so the linear search and the binary search. So what I would do is, in fact, let's have a quick look. So 19th of February is next week. Okay, so I can go, right, so now I've done some revision on this week. Okay, I can go, actually, it's probably still red. Okay, and then maybe I did that on the 20th. In fact, let's just put 20/2. Okay, so I put the date where I have revised it, and it's still color coded, so it can tell me, or tell you as you would be using this, how confident you are. So if you are now happier with it, it might change to a yellow or a green, but otherwise you can keep it as a red. And then this will basically kind of, you only add to it when you have revised something. So you don't plan out in advance, oh, I'm going to revise this on this day, this on this day. You go, okay, today I did this and it's still red. Or today I did this and now I'm really happy with it, it's a green. Okay, so you don't revise using this, you just record your revision. So you go away and you would maybe do flashcards, past paper questions, whatever else it is that you use to revise, and then you can kind of update this and it becomes an up-to-date version. So where we had your starting point here and go, this is where I am now, this is green, this is red, etc. It will always stay up to date as long as you log which revision you've done. And because these are quite short things, so for example, the bubble sort and the merge sort is maybe quite chunky if you're less happy with those, but some of these, like number bases, binary hex conversions, units of information, you might be able to revise 2 of these things in one go. Maybe it's just 10 minutes each, for example, and that's absolutely fine as well. You can do that. But what you want to do is really focus on the red areas, because if you know they're your weaker areas, they're where you want to start. You don't have to revise the green areas as much because you're happier with those. If they came up in the exam, let's say you for some reason woke up and the exam was tomorrow, you'd be happy answering questions on the green areas, but the red ones are the ones that you really want to work on. So those are the ones that you work on first. Okay, so this is a really good and useful tool. So you don't have to, like I say, plan your revision in advance and then try and stick to that timetable, because things always come up and it makes it much more difficult to stick to that. Especially if you miss one day, or something happens, then it all starts to build up and it becomes much more difficult to stay on top of. With this one, you know where you are now, and so you know what you need to revise. Then you can go away and do some, and then you can see these kind of reds changing into yellows, changing into greens, and it gives you a little bit more confidence heading into the exam. And if you know that everything's pretty much green by the time you get there, then you're going to be looking good for the exam. So what I've done with this is I've put it onto Google Sheets. So if you wanted to use this, I'm going to put a link in the description below. You can download it. You can either do it electronically like this, or you can just print it if having a revision timetable on paper that you can fill in by hand is a bit more useful to you. Like I say, this is for AQA's GCSE specification. I don't have an OCR one, but I could put one together. So let me know in the comments if you would like to do that. And this would also work for A-level as well. Obviously, the A-level specification is much larger, but it still works in essentially the same way. You just break it down into different topics and then add to your revision timetable, your retrospective revision timetable, as and when you've done any revision. Okay, so let me know how you get on, and I'll see you soon.